everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in my previous video I was discussing about the upper respiratory tract. So in today's video I will be discussing about the lower respiratory tract. You can find the link of the previous video in the description box. So let's start with the lower respiratory tract. From the larynx, the air enters the trachea. The trachea is made up of cartilaginous rings which are 16 to 20 in number, and our trachea is located between the cervical 6 and the thoracic 4 vertebrae. Then the trachea divides, and a point where it becomes bronchi is called as carina. The trachea divides to become primary bronchus, then it divides to become secondary, then it divides to become tertiary bronchus. Remember, bronchus is singular and bronchi is plural. Each bronchus leads to a separate lung where it again divides into smaller branches, somewhat like a branch of a tree. These smaller branches are then called bronchioles, which have no cartilage, only smooth muscle tissue. These bronchioles are now called as terminal bronchioles, which narrows up and becomes alveolar ducts. These alveolar ducts hold alveolar sacs which have alveoli in them, and they are very thin walled, and it is through these alveoli the gaseous exchange takes place. The deoxygenated blood that comes from the heart exchange of carbon dioxide and becomes oxygenated, and this carbon dioxide is given out by our body when we exhale. Each lung has around 150 million alveoli. That means we have 300 million alveoli in our lungs. Till now we have seen how the gaseous exchange takes place. But do you know how our lungs look like? Our lungs are divided as right and left lung. Our right lung has 3 lobes: superior lobe, middle lobe, and inferior lobe. We can even call them upper lobe, middle lobe, and lower lobe. Our left lung has only 2 lobes, superior and inferior. And these lobes are divided by fissures. Our right lung has horizontal fissure, which separates the superior lobe from the middle lobe, and oblique fissure, which separates the middle lobe from the inferior lobe. And our left lung has only one fissure, oblique fissure, since our left lung has only 2 left lobes. Our right lung is slightly larger than the left lung, as our left lung shares most of the space with our heart, which occupies most of the space in the left lung, as our heart is slightly tilted, and you can see it form a notch which is called as the cardiac notch. In both of our lungs, there is a region through which blood vessels, nerves, and bronchus enters and exit, and this region is called as hilum of lungs. Coming to the mechanism of breathing, what happens when we breathe in air? There is a dome-shaped muscle known as diaphragm. It separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity. Thoracic cavity is the cavity in which we have our lungs and ribcage, and the abdominal cavity is where we have our stomach, liver, and pancreas. So when we breathe in air, our lungs expand and the diaphragm moves down. You can see this in figure A. And as you can see in figure B, when we exhale, our diaphragm moves up and our lungs contract, forcing the air to move out. So this was all for the respiratory system. See you again with another video. Thank you.